So firstly, we just wanted to understand why are the scholarships late for the students?
I have to find out from the department. But I think well, the last I heard, I don't have the details with me. There's so many things, of course, happening. So I'm not tracking every single thing that happens. But as far as I know, last time I was told that I think in the next 4 or 5 days, or maybe maximum weeks time, I think the process will be done. So we should be clearing it soon. I don't know the details right now, but I heard the officials telling me that I think it was about 2 days back, that maximum in about a week's time. So I expect maybe by next week we'll start dispersing it.
You had also mentioned in your speech that in this 60 to 70 crores has been collected from cess for the educational. That is from how many years? If you can just...
Every year there is cess on minerals. Roughly, I'm saying. So some years it may be 30 crores, 20 crores. Some years it goes to 100 crores. So it goes up in plus and minus, but averaging about 50 to 60 crores is what we get every year from cess that is put on minerals, and that is meant for education. But in the past, it was not used for education. But after our government came in, since it was collected for education purpose, we started using that, and it's with that money today that we are constructing new LP schools, which we had inaugurated 50 of them, and we'll inaugurate another 50 of them by the end of this month. So that's how we are doing, and all the infrastructures we're creating, higher secondary schools, it's with that money that we're doing.
Okay. So, one more. So you had also mentioned that in our state there are more than 16,000 schools. These include both private and government, right?
Yes.
So what is the way forward? Are you planning to reduce the schools, or what is...
No, of course it's not possible for us to just simply reduce it, because obviously the schools are established. There are teachers who are working there, so we cannot just simply close them down. So that's not what my point is. But my point is that if you were to compare two states like Manipur and Meghalaya, which are comparable in terms of population, one state has about 4,000-5,000 schools, and we have close to 16,000, 15,000 plus schools. So therefore, I'm just trying to compare and see and show the kind of difference that is there in the two states, and the challenges that we face because of these multiple schools that we have. In fact, in some schools there are very few students, but a large number of teachers are there. There are some schools who are in fact not even performing that well, and don't have the kind of pass percentage that is there. So the scale of the problems and the scale of the issues and the number of schools is very, very large, and that kind of brings out a huge challenge for the state government, is what I was trying to explain in my speech.
One last question, sir. On the lines of teachers are important part of the society. There was a lot of uproar when teachers were attacked with tear gas. You haven't reacted to that, so what would you like to say about that?
No, this is in fact last time, as I was mentioning, we are waiting for some kind of a report. But one has to see 2-3 things. Of course, I am a person who is not in favor of violence in any situations. I think in the last 4.5 years, you must have seen that. And therefore, I always, any issue that is being there, I believe that always dialogue is the best way to move forward. And that's the reason I myself also always meet everybody. In that situation, there were a lot of conflicting and complicated situations. The permissions for them to come forward to the secretariat was not given. There was Section 144 that was imposed, but the teachers had come. And and of course there were women out there, and there were not enough police, women police out there. So these kind of complications came up. I guess if proper communication in terms of permissions were given, say suppose, and they had come, then I think the system would have been much more smoother. I'm guessing maybe the police and all saw the teachers and all, were concerned if something may happen, and hence tear gas would be the most simplest way in one way to disperse a crowd without going to violence of any sort. So really it's difficult to say for me without really understanding what the officials went through at the grassroots level at that point in time, and what led to the decision at that point in time. But I think what's important is that nobody was really seriously hurt. What's important is that these things happened, and we have taken a report and everything from everybody, and more importantly, the issues that we're trying to address, we have tried to explain to everybody about the issues that were there. So we're trying to find out ways and means in which we can explain to everybody. We have also mentioned that we may be able to give some relief in terms of the age condonation at a certain point in time. all these mentions have been done. Points have been mentioned by the Education Minister himself. So it's a complicated issue, but let's see how we move forward in that.
There is an allegation that there are lots of ghost schools in our state. So what kind of action will the government take on these kind of schools?
The definition of ghost schools is what is you have to first see. What do you mean by ghost schools? Do you mean that a school which they don't exist? Yeah. So therefore, there could be. I don't think I'm in the position right now to comment that. If you're saying ghost schools means in name it's there, but physically it's not present out there. I don't think that that's something that's entirely possible. There could be a possibility that that these schools are there, but there are no students there. So the building may exist or the classrooms may exist. There are schools which have very less students. Some have 4 or 5 students, but they have 3 or 4 teachers also. So these challenges are there. But ghost schools per se, I have not really come across a specific proof to be able to agree to that. But definitely, if there is a situation like that, if there are schools like that, then obviously action will be taken against such schools which don't even exist physically, but taking some kind of financial support from the government.
Sorry.